Hey guys, it's Allison. So as you can see from the title, I'm doing a book wrap-up video, and I'm doing August and September. Since I did not do one in August, I'm doing both months combined, and it's about 13 books in total. I'm gonna be rating them. I'm gonna be telling you my thoughts about the book, the basis of the book, and all that. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Comment down below if you read any of these books and your thoughts on the books. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and give it a thumbs up if you like it. And let's get on with the video. So the first book that got me into reading, or like that started everything, was this book. It's called The Partner Track by Helen Wan, and this is also a Netflix series, and that's why I got this book. I wanted to read the book first before I watched the Netflix series, because you know how they say like the books are better than like the movies or whatever it is. So I decided to read this book. I thought that the book was so much different than the show. I liked the book better. So basically this book is about Ingrid Yun, which is the main character. She works at a law firm, and she is Asian American, and I related to her since she is Asian American. But I really thought that the experiences that she went through in the book did not show in the Netflix series. So I really liked the book because it showed a lot of that, you know, a lot of description and all that stuff. Obviously it's gonna be different from the show slash movie or whatever. She's trying to work her way around an industry full of men and trying to make partner. It wasn't a love story or anything. There was a little bit of romance inside, but the romance got me so mad in it. The guy was not for her. So the next book I read, it was The Stand-In by Lily Chu. So this is about a girl who got fired, Gracie. She gets fired from her job, and one day she's walking home, and then she bumps into this celebrity girl. Her name is Wei Fang Li, and Sam, which is Wei Fang Li's friend, they like pull up right next to her, and they're like, oh, I'm gonna give you this opportunity so you could be me, because they look just alike. And since Gracie just lost her job, Wei was offering her money to be her, so like she would be her like in events, other opportunities, so Wei could like just relax, just get away from like the celebrity lifestyle. There was like depression involved in the book. And then she ends up working with Sam, which is the best guy friend of Wei, and he doesn't really approve of it in the beginning of Gracie being her, but he ends up getting used to it. They end up falling in love in between all of that. And I just found this book really cute. I think their love story was really cute. It was not what you expected. It just like happened naturally in a way. So I really liked it. The ending was like mind-blowing. I did not really expect the ending to happen the way it happened. This cover is really cute. I give it a 5 out of 5. So the next book that I read was The Spanish Love Deception. This was a really good book. I think like a lot of people were talking about Aaron Blackford on TikTok, but he actually was a good male character in a book. There was a lot of spicy scenes in the book. So basically the girl, Catalina, she told her parents that she had a boyfriend that she was gonna bring to her sister's wedding, which was gonna be in like a month's time. But she actually didn't have a boyfriend. So Aaron Blackford, her co-worker, was offering to be her boyfriend for the time being, but she didn't want it. It was kind of like an enemies to lover. The reason why she said she had a boyfriend was because her ex-boyfriend was gonna be there, and he already had like a new girlfriend and stuff like that, so she felt like she had to have a new boyfriend. This was kind of like a slow burn kind of book. Really cute scenes in this book, just really cute scenes. Like that it had an epilogue. Some books don't have epilogues, which just gets me mad. I don't know. Is it only me that like there has to be an epilogue at the end of the book? Because I feel like some books just end like that, and it's just like, what happened? So I gave this book a 5 out of 5. So the next book that I picked up was Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, if that's how you say her last name. I read this book in one day. It was really good. This book actually reminded me of the Summer I Turned Pretty series. This book, Persephone, the main character, she has a summer house with her parents, and she lives next door to these two boys that live with their mom, and she has a relationship with one of the boys. It went back and forth from the past and present. Basically, we try to find out why her and the guy broke up, and it just like goes back and forth to why like the relationship ended the way it did, how the relationship started, and all this stuff, which was really cute. Past and Present is like the best kind of books in my opinion. You see why they act the way they do, or like why everything became what, you know. I said in the beginning I read it in one day, so obviously it's a 5 out of 5. The next book I bought was Purple Hearts. As you guys know, Purple Hearts came out in August and it blew up the movie on Netflix. I watched the movie first and then I decided, like, why not read the book? And I thought this cover was really cute with Sophia and Nicholas. I decided to read the book because I wanted to know the basis of where they got everything. It was different. It was literally different from how the movie was to the book. I actually liked the movie better, honestly. The book just got me mad because she had a relationship with one of her bandmates, and during the time that he was away. If you guys don't know what Purple Hearts is or haven't read the book or anything, so this book was basically about a girl who married a guy from the military and they both benefited from it. So she needed money for her diabetes medicine and he needed money to pay back a drug dealer. They both got married for benefits, but then obviously it was a slow kind of love and they ended up falling in love. The movie was so much better than the book, so I recommend you guys watching the movie on Netflix. Yeah, I gave this book 4 out of 5. The ending of this book, I did not expect it to happen. I wish it had an epilogue because it just ended like that. It ended up like, oh, they hugged, she went in the car, he stayed there, we'll figure it out kind of thing. And I'm just like, that's it? There's no epilogue? Like, what is this? So after reading all those love stories, I was like, I really need to read a book that's thriller, psychological, or like suspense kind of book. Like, that's all the TV shows that I watch. So I was like, I need to buy a book that somehow relates to all of that. So I decided to pick up The Silent Patient. This cover is kind of scary, but it's okay. This is by Alex Michaelis, if that's how you say his name. In the other videos, I was like, I'm trying not to butcher his name. This was a really slow beginning. Like, it was a very slow book, but I really enjoyed it. But then at the ending was such a twist that I didn't expect that it was gonna end like that, which was like really shocking. So it was about a woman named Alicia. She supposedly killed her husband like out of nowhere. She shot him like 4 times, and then after that she went into a psychiatric unit and she never spoke again. She never spoke a lick of anything of what happened that night. And everybody's wondering like what really happened. So this criminal psychotherapist was very interested in her story and wanted to see what happened. So he decided to go work in the facility that Alicia was in to figure out what happened, because nobody really paid her no mind anymore because she wasn't talking. So they were like, we're never gonna get anything out of this girl. He was very interested and wanted to get stuff out of her, trying to like make her speak and tell him what happened. But the ending was such a twist and very shocking. It was just mind-blowing. I gave this a 4.5 out of 5. It kind of like had like a lot of background toward his childhood and her childhood, and it was just a very slow book, even though it was necessary for the book, you know. So I gave 4.5 out of 5. So the next book that I picked up, which I thought sounded interesting, was Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina. This book was about a couple that had 3 adult children, and the couple was found dead in their house. The kids were set to inherit millions, so they were trying to figure out who killed the parents. Was it the children? Was it someone random? Was it the housekeeper? Was it, you know, this and that? The police was trying to figure out. The third person view on this book, I didn't really like how it was written. I didn't actually expect the ending, and the epilogue was good in this. It was a very slow book to happen. Like, even though it's pretty short, like, it was kind of like, it was a back and forth thing. I was just like, I want to find out who it is already, you know what I mean? I actually liked it just because it has short chapters, so it felt like you were reading it quicker. I gave this book a 3 out of 5. It wasn't bad, it wasn't amazing like some of the other books. And then the last of my August reads before we get into September, so I read 8 books during the month of August. Well, not even the month of August, it was like 2.5 weeks of August when I got into reading, so I read 8 books during that span of time. The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I really like this cover. This book I actually read in a day. I started it like around 9 o'clock in the morning and I finished it 10 o'clock at night, with breaks in between obviously because I went to work with my mom. So I read it while I was at her job and stuff. It was a very easy read. It was 3 different timelines and stories going on, which all connected in one. So I really liked that. It was a girl who was the sole inheritor of abandoned mansion that her parents had, but she was adopted. During the book, she tries to figure out what happened in the house because there was a murder that happened in the house. So it was her timeline, her sister's timeline, and her family's timeline. So it was all combined. It was a really good book. The book kept it going because it was a back and forth thing, so it wasn't like a boring read. So that's how I read it in a day. A shocking ending, to say the least, but I really liked how she wrote her book. Going into the month of September, this is the first book I read. This is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Probably a lot of you guys watching this video has read this book already. This is by Holly Jackson, and I thought this book was kind of slow. I don't know if you guys think that is. But I really liked how it was a back and forth thing, like with her logs in her project to like what was happening in real time. I forgot that this was a series, so I have to get the 2 other books at some point. I like how this whole story was written though, and the fact that she solved a murder. I don't know if that was a spoiler, but she solves a murder. It was basically about a girl who was interested about a murder that had happened like years prior. Supposedly her boyfriend killed the girl and then he killed himself, but she don't believe that the guy killed his girlfriend, and she tries to figure out what happened during this. The boy that supposedly killed himself, and she works with his brother. Honestly, I really thought that it was the brother who did it, but they worked together trying to figure it out. He was kind of sus during in between, but it was fine, and the ending was kind of weird and shocking. But yeah, I would actually read the next 2 books, but I haven't gotten a chance to get it, so I gave this book a 4 out of 5. So this was another one-day read. I read this in one day, which was, when I read it in one day, I'm just like, it was a really good book then. So this was Maybe in Another Life by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is the first book I got from her, so I'm excited to get more books from her because she's a really good author. So this book was basically about a girl named Hannah. She moved around a lot, but then she finally went back to LA to go live with her best friend and her best friend's husband. And she wanted to get her life together because she didn't have her life together, so she wanted to figure out what she wanted to do with her life. And she ends up talking to her ex-boyfriend at the bar that night that she comes back to LA. Basically, it's a timeline between if she leaves with him or if she leaves back home with her best friend. It's a parallel universe between both timelines, and just how she wrote this was crazy. I did not expect her to write what she wrote in the beginning of how both the timelines were gonna be set. It was really interesting since it was not just like a one steady book, it was like a back and forth thing. But I think this was a really good book. I wish I did reading vlogs for every single one of these books, honestly, because my reactions to things are really funny. So I can't wait to do a reading vlog in the future. Yeah, if I didn't say it already, I gave this book a 5 out of 5. And then we're gonna go into Miss Colleen Hoover, and this was the first book I picked up from her, and it's called Verity. And you guys probably already know what this is about, but if you guys don't know what this is about Lowen. She is a struggling writer, and she gets an opportunity to write for a very good author to finish the author series, which the author's name was Verity Crawford. And she lives in Verity's house while because Verity gets into an accident and she's unable to finish her series. So she's basically stuck up in her room. She doesn't talk, she doesn't do anything. She has a nurse. Slowly, Lowen falls in love with Jeremy. Like something happens in the beginning where like how they met and stuff like that. So it was just a whole big thing. She finds Verity's manuscript to her like autobiography, and she finds out things that Jeremy supposedly doesn't know about. The ending was kind of shocking. I don't know if you guys are team manuscript or team letter. I am definitely team manuscript, because why would you write the manuscript that way if it wasn't true? You know what I mean? But This book was really good. I read this also in a day. I could not put down this book. Like, I was walking around with this book. I was reading it going down the stairs, going to the car. I was reading it in the car, which I don't really read or use my phone in the car because I kind of get nauseous. But I was reading this in the car. Like, the fact that I couldn't put down this book, and I finished it in probably less than 10 hours in the day, or like, was kind of shocking to me. This book was really good. Can't wait to read her other books. I don't know if I explained the book because I feel like when I talk, I lose my train of thought, and then I'm like, oh wait, did I say that? But if anything, I'll just put it to the side. It's written on the side if I missed anything. But I give it a 5 out of 5, obviously. Me reading those two books, Taylor Jenkins Reid book and the Colleen Hoover book, if this doesn't tell you that they are good writers, I don't know what does. So yeah, they're just really good. So I can't wait to get like older books because I would expect the same from the other books. The next book that I read was this book. It's called The Girl Who Survived by Lisa Jackson. This book, it took me a while to read this book. This is the longest actually book that I have read so far out of all the books. It took me a week and a half to read this book, technically 3 solid days. So I just started work again because I had summer break, and now I'm back to work because I work in a school. So I've been coming home really tired. So whenever I had picked up this book and started reading it, I got like really tired and then I would fall asleep. Not that this book was boring at all. That I read it in 3 solid days just because I read like 180 pages one day, or like 150 pages one day, another 80 pages like another day. It has like a 370 something, 80 something pages in this book. I appreciate the detail in the book and stuff like that, but it was too much, and some of it wasn't necessary in my opinion. If you guys don't know what this book was about, this book was about this girl named Kara. She experienced a very traumatic thing when she was 8 years old. Her whole family got murdered, and her brother, one of her brothers, was blamed for it, and so he went to jail for it. And it's already been 20 years that had passed. Her brother was gonna get out of jail, and then she's still trying to figure out like if he really did it or if it was someone else. Sorry, there's like sirens in the background. The cops are still trying to figure out like if he really did it as well. We figure out, like, obviously we figure out who ended up killing the family, if it was Jonas, which was her brother, or someone else. But I think it wasn't even, I don't think it was that shocking. This book was pretty decent. I think the chapters were pretty long, but yeah, I mean, I gave it a 3 out of 5. 3 is like a high 3. Like my 3s are high 3s. They're not like low 3s. So when I am filming this video, I am reading Archer's Voice. I'll probably finish reading this by today, so if anything, I'll let you guys know on the side my thoughts. But so far is like a 5 out of 5 read for me. This is actually a really good book because it goes back and forth as well. If you guys haven't read Archer's Voice by Mia Sheridan, it's about a girl who goes to the small town to like try to find herself again because her father had gotten killed right in front of her. So she wanted to just like run away from like everything from her hometown, and she moves to this like little small town, and then she meets this guy that supposedly everybody thinks he's deaf, but we find out, spoiler, he's not deaf. He just doesn't speak, and they have this very special bond. And let me tell you guys, I started tabbing this book. All my other books I didn't tab, but this book I was like, I need to tab this. This is really cute. This is in the first chapter. By the way, before I read the quote, it goes back and forth from Archer's timeline and to the current timeline. So it says, so his uncle said to his mother, it's a whole big thing, you'll figure out in the first chapter. Like, you figure out everything in the first chapter. His uncle says to his mother, Archer's mother, he says, if there's no you, nothing else matters. I'm like, oh my gosh, that was really cute. I don't know, that quote just stuck out to me. I'm like, that is so cute. I would actually recommend this book, just how it's written, and I think the chapters are really short. They're like 3-4 pages each or something like that. It feels like you're reading super fast, so that's why I was saying also that you can read it in a day. But I actually wish I did a reading vlog on this, like at the start of this. I was planning to, but I have a whole bunch of other books that I want to do a reading vlog on. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope I gave explanations to these books. Comment down below if you read any of these books. If you stuck around to the end of this video, because I know this video is probably going to be super long, just comment down below a book emoji with your favorite book of all time and would recommend. I hope you guys enjoy the video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.